The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. What are credit score reason codes? Good question. Many factors can impact your FICO scores, including both positive and negative information in each of your credit reports from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. The 5 major scoring categories can help you understand the relative importance of different types of information. However, the specific impacts of a change can depend on your unique credit file. Credit score reason codes can help you understand what's impacting your specific FICO score the most right now. Remember, the only place that I go to get a FICO score would be myfico.com, myfico.com. And yes, I pay for it. I don't get it free. I don't tell you about it because they're compensating me for sharing the information with you. No, I pay for it just like everybody else, but I watch it for my wife and myself because I want to know what's going on. And as much as that, what I really want to know is when things change on my file, I get an update, a couple times a day, maybe more than that, about different things going on my credit file. And I look at it and say, okay, this caused my score to go up a point. This caused my score to go down a point. And by watching that, I can then report to you and say, something, if you do this, you can expect that. Get back to the subject though, Ron. What are reason codes? Reason codes are also called credit score risk factors or adverse action codes. These numerical or alphanumeric codes are tied to various credit scoring factors and may be accompanied by a short description. If you check your FICO score, the score will usually come with reasons that explain what's impacting that score the most. They'll be listed in order with the factor that has most influence, and if the number of hard credit inquiries is impacting your score but does not surface in the top 4 negative factors, it will be included as a 5th code. For example, if you're new to credit, the number 1 factor impacting your FICO score might be the length of time accounts have been established, which happens to be code 14 with FICO scores. Additionally, you may see reason codes when you apply for a credit account. A creditor may request one of your credit reports and a FICO score based on the report to help it make a credit granting decision. When a creditor uses a credit score in making a credit decision and either denies your application or gives you less favorable terms, such as an interest rate that's higher than the lowest advertised rate, the lender is generally required under federal law to provide you an adverse action or risk-based pricing notice. This notice will generally contain various information about the decision, the credit bureau, and credit score model that the creditor used, the score's potential range, your score, and key factors that adversely affected your score. You can have a good credit and reason codes. If your credit score is in the high 700s or 800s, most lenders would consider your score as very high, and that helps you qualify for very attractive offers. People are sometimes surprised to see negative reason codes output when they have a high credit score. This generally reflects where they are just shy of getting maximum points for a given credit characteristic. Use the reason codes as a guide because reason codes can tell you what currently has the largest negative impact on your FICO score. You can use them as a guide to better understand what's impacting your score. Keep in mind that a single incident could be tied to multiple reason codes. So here's the issue, and this is where so many errors appear on FICO scores or on FICO reports. There are breaks, there are benefits for different activities. So one of the items that affects your score is how long you've had credit. Well, if you look at your FICO report or your credit report, if it's a true FICO report, has an Experian, an Equifax, TransUnion on there, it's going to have a code for how long they've been looking at your credit account. It's also going to say when the account was opened. So you can look at that, and I've seen this in the past, where it'll say Date opened was April of 1999. And you see there's all kinds of activity on there. And then it says how many months of activity, MOA. And it says 47. Well, now wait a second. It was opened in April 1999 and you only got 47 months? Why is that? Well, it's an error because that should have a code of 99, which is the highest you can get. It's only a 2-digit code. So it couldn't say that it's been open for 240 months. But you get an enhancement on your credit score when you go over from the flip from 47 to 48. So you want to make sure that that's corrected. That's going to cause a problem if you're not getting the right numbers there. Similarly, you want to look and see, something if you had a bankruptcy and it's on there and it's from 20 years ago and it's still showing up, that should not. Recent bankruptcies. I still see people that have recent bankruptcies, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but the debts that are shown in the bankruptcy are still showing as past due. That's an error. That's going to bring down your score. It should not be there. So what is your score based on? Well, 35% of your score is based on payment history. Do you make your payments on time? How long have the accounts been opened? 30% of your score. That's based on the amount you owe. That's the utilization rate. We've talked about that many, many times on Ron Siegel Radio. We've even got, and I don't know if Josh has it or not, but he may have the link for a segment that we did explaining how to pay your credit cards the right way. We've done that many, many times. I just redid it because Josh got me some new microphones and it sounded a lot better now. So not my voice or anything else. The equipment sounds better. So here's the issue. If you pay your credit cards the right way to maximize your FICO score, that's going to help you with the second largest percentage of your score, 30%. Then you've got 10% for new credit. That's your inquiries. How many times are you applying for new credit? 10%. If you're applying for a new credit 2-3 times a month, you're going to get a hit on that. It's going to bring your score down. Length of credit history. How long? Remember, I just mentioned to you the months that you've had your card. So if you've only had your card a short period of time, you've got all kinds of new credit, and all of them are short period of time. That's going to be building into that 15% of your score, the length of credit history. And the credit mix. What do your items look like? That's 10% of your score. What's ideal? Well, if you have 1 mortgage, 2 car, 3 credit card, that's going to be your ideal mix. Now, again, FICO does not tell anybody precisely what their algorithm is. So we see these things. Now, the report I'm referencing is actually from myfico.com. It's about as good as you're going to get. So myfico.com, they've got the data there because it's from Fair Isaac Corporation. So those are the items that really have the biggest effect on your scores and just some ways to deal with it. Now, remember, you're looking at a FICO score from 300 to 850. So that's 550. Now, if you have a perfect score, I've never seen one. The highest I've seen is 834. The only item that people really understand universally, in my experience, has been inquiries. So they'll call our team and say, Ron, I've already had my credit run, or one of the other people on the team, I've had my credit run. Don't run it again because it's going to hurt my credit score. Well, there's 2 issues here. First off, there's something called buffering. So if you're looking at the same industry, automobile, mortgage, furniture, and you're getting different quotes, and it's all within the same period of time, it's not going to count as multiple inquiries. Now, if you go to Home Depot and apply for a card, and then you go to Kohl's and apply for a card, and then you go to Macy's and apply for another card, and then you go to Amazon and apply for a card, and then you go to PayPal and apply for credit. Well, now that's 4 different places. That's going to hit you 4 times. That's going to have an effect. But go back to the percentages. Inquiries count for 10% of your FICO score, roughly. So think about that. You've got a 550-point spread in your score. 10% is 55. If you went from 850 to 795, you're still going to get the credit that's based on scoring. Now, you may not have enough income, you may not have other issues, but based on just your credit score, a 795 is going to be approved anywhere. Again, just from the scoring standpoint of it. So pay more attention to your history and pay more attention to your amounts owed, because that's dealing with 65% of your score. 65% can take you from an approved score to a disqualifying score, or maybe somewhere in between where it's actually just hurting your rates, but you're still getting approved. So just be aware of those numbers. Those are some of the biggest issues. And we're actually going to have our friend Jeff Sipes is going to be with us later in the week. And you'll be able to catch that. Now, remember, we record the broadcast 9 o'clock weekdays. And on Wednesdays, we do an extra broadcast at 10:30. So if you want to be interactive with us, go to any of our social channels, 9 o'clock weekdays, 10:30 is an additional broadcast on Wednesdays, just so you have all of that information.